After choosing between dressage and the West End, Lewis Carrier went on to become a professional dressage rider. He is currently number 4 in the world for under 25 dressage as ranked by the FEI, and he's on the Olympic Ambition Programme for Paris 2024. And today, he's very kindly invited me up to his base in Norfolk to hear a little bit more about what he does. This is Riding with Ree. Welcome back to my channel. Hi Lewis!
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, brilliant, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure, it's an absolute pleasure.
This is your lovely house.
It is indeed,
And
yeah.
you are lucky enough to keep your horses at home.
I am so lucky, yeah, it's lovely. Just a 50-metre walk down to the yard, and yeah, it's
my goodness.
Yeah, very, very lucky.
Well, thank you so much for having us in beautiful Norfolk.
Thank you.
How long have you lived here for?
So we've lived here for 16 years actually, but I used to have my ponies when we were first here, and we didn't quite have as many stables as we do now. 2 years ago, after I stopped working for other people, I set up here on my own, and now we have 6 horses and the companion pony, which we've had for about 16 years, so it's really nice to be at home and have the horses so close.
So Lewis, obviously recently you became the world number 4 for under 25 dressage.
Yes.
What was that like? How does one find that out?
So at the beginning of every month, the FEI database, the rankings update, and so I suppose we've had a couple of really successful years, even with COVID, and last year going to the Europeans for under 25s in Germany, Hagen, we had really good results. Yeah, so I sort of checked it at the beginning of February, and yeah, I was up to number 4, which is fantastic. I really wanted to get in the top 5. I knew that I wouldn't make 1 because you have to compete a lot and really get some really high scores to get to number 1. But to get to number 4 I was really surprised. You know, if we do under 25s this year, I'd like to try and push up to number 1, or when we eventually get up into the seniors, which we will be in the senior rankings now. Yeah. The goal is to always get up to that number 1.
On your Instagram bio, you talk about being in the Olympic Ambition Programme for Paris 2024. Could you tell us a little bit about what that is? It sounds incredibly exciting.
Yeah, no, I was incredibly excited when I first got invited onto it. It's meant to be basically a taste of the Olympic experience. People going on it aspire to go to an Olympics, so being on the programme is meant to give you that little bit of experience. So in previous years, Charlotte Desjardins went to, I believe she went to Beijing. Other riders like Alice Oppenheimer and Hayley Watson-Greaves have been on the programme before. So we were meant to go over to Tokyo for a week and experience the games, but due to COVID we weren't able to fly out there. So we went to London for 2 days, we went to the Olympic Park, and we got a bit of experience from previous athletes. It was nice to be around so many other sports, so many athletes around my age aspiring to go to Olympics, just to get a bit of a taste of their sports and being in a sort of Olympic environment. And especially it's so nice to be on the London Olympic, sort of where that was.
It's very exciting, and obviously Paris is coming up very quickly. Are you thinking about the Olympics after that, or one after that, without obviously...
No, absolutely, always. If I still have the horse that my top Grand Prix horse now, I would like to be aiming for Paris. You know, you've got to have ambitions, and I absolutely want to go for it. And then after that is LA, and I have a slightly younger horse. If Diego's still not around for that, I have a slightly younger horse who's rising 8 this year, who would be the perfect age to go to LA, so that'd be incredible. And I just think an Olympics in America, in Los Angeles, would be just amazing.
We've had quite a few horses in the background as we've been talking, and I am dying to meet them. Would you introduce us to your lovely yard?
Yeah, of course. So over here on the right, we've got a rising 6-year-old, and he's called Dumble, or full name is Master Dumbledore. He's here in training with me to be produced, hopefully all the way up to Grand Prix. But he's rising 6 at the moment. He's competing successfully at novice, but hopefully at the end of the year we're thinking sort of around advanced medium, 6-year-old level. Maybe next year Prix St George, and all the way up to Grand Prix over the next few years. So yeah, no, it's exciting. And then over here in the opposite field we've got Emma. This is my groom's horse, so she's an ex-race horse. She's in training with me as well. We've got realistic ambitions for her. She's not probably going to get to Grand Prix, she's a little bit older, but it's really nice for my groom to have a horse here at the yard where she works, and she trains every day, and she's just nice to have around. Yeah.
To be 24, 25, or turning 25 and having your own yard is quite a big thing. So how has that been? What has the learning curve been of having your own yard at such a young age?
Definitely balancing the books. There's just not enough time in the day. For me, I always find that I want to do as much as I can and fill every hour of the day. So at my world-class squad training, one of the questions that my sort of psychologist lady that does it, we have like a scale, and it's you know, what is your work-life balance? And I used to be like a 4 out of 10, but since being with Liv and having more time away from the horses, I actually tell her that I'm now more of an 8 out of 10. So it's really nice to have a much better work-life balance.
It's really nice to hear that you're being supported in that way as an athlete, especially as we were just talking as the camera was off, as we were just walking up here, that you actually had a yard of your own since you were 21, which is not super young, but it's young enough to have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So it's really nice that you have that support.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I really enjoyed doing those world-class squad training sessions, because you do get away from here. You go to the training camp for a couple of days, and you're then with other athletes who are doing a very similar thing, similar age, so it sort of takes you away, but you're still very much in that sort of support bubble from world class, which is really good.
Lovely. So who have we got here behind you?
So this is my rising 6-year-old Freddie. Alvescot Freestyle, as he's known, competition. He did a little bit of the young horse classes as a 4 or 5-year-old. He's done novices and competing, and I'm proud to say that he's never got below 70%, which I like to try and keep for as long as possible. Hopefully aiming for advanced medium at the end of the year, which is sort of 6-year-old level. But the plan is to try and get him all the way up to Grand Prix, and he's going really well. So yeah, we'll see how he goes. Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's lovely. Got a lovely temperament. Sensitive chap. He's about 71, 72, but he's a really sensitive, friendly giant.
He's lovely. Oh look, loves you.
Enjoying the sun today.
Yes, and up here we have what appears to be the star of the show.
Yeah.
In this paddock here. So who is this?
So this is our sort of resident companion pony who looks after all the horses here. Little Roger the Dodger. I mean, we first got him as a companion for my first pony. He actually went to the riding for the disabled for a couple of years, and he taught them how to ride. It was nice for them, and it was nice for him to keep going, so he wasn't just a companion pony. It was nice when I came back home that he could come here and retire, because he was obviously getting on a bit. So yeah, no, he's got a really nice life.
So as we walk up to the final horse in the field here, what has been your biggest challenge owning your own business and becoming a professional rider for you in the last few years?
I think the biggest thing is probably balancing everything, to be honest. It's trying to make enough money to make everything work, but then not working too hard, trying to have time off, balance work, balance money, balance life, balance just generally everything. I've been here 2-3 years. It just takes time to really get into it, and it's like any business, I suppose. It does take time to sort of settle into it and find a routine that works. Have
there been any moments where you really felt like, I don't know if I want to keep going down this path, and I wish I'd chosen something else?
No, absolutely. I mean, I read the BD magazine, I think it was last month, where Andrew Gould was also talking about this same subject, and it was actually quite refreshing to hear that a professional athlete like himself was going through the same thing. But I absolutely, there have been times over the last few years, especially setting up on my own, where there's so many responsibilities that sort of get to you. I've definitely thought, is this the right thing I want to do? But I always think I've come down this road so far and we've achieved so much, it'd be such a shame to stop doing it, and horses and dressage is all I've known. So it would be such a shame to sort of walk away from it now. But I love doing what I do, and that's why I do it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're really on the precipice of like big things. You've found that balance, you've got that support network, things are like in a good place.
Yeah, I like to think so. We're making that transition from being a young rider now going up through under 25s into the senior ranks. So I suppose, now we're going into sort of more of the being a professional. I'd like to think that this is the beginning of big things. I'd like to think so.
And speaking of big things, someone has been absolutely desperate to say hello. Who is this?
Yeah, so this is Jaguar. So this is my rising star. He's looking a bit scruffy, we're coming out of winter. He didn't have a second clip, so he's looking a bit fluffy, and he's just having a great time in the field. So he's rising 8 this year, and he's actually got his first Inter 1 next week. So we'll see how he does. I'm hoping for the end of this year he'll be at Grand Prix.
Amazing.
He's showing some really fantastic stuff. So he'll be taking over Diego, my main horse, at some point. But I'm so excited to get him out competing at the top level. because he's he's really special to me, and I think he's going to be fantastic. So it's really exciting.
So who have we got here?
So this is the main man, Diego, who we have been through a lot together. 3 Europeans, one in 2018. One in 2021 and 2020. We've done young rider teams together, under 25 teams together, and hopefully seniors together at some point. But he's rising 14 this year.
Well, I can't wait to see you ride him.
Yeah, no, so we'll get him ready.
Wonderful. So while you are getting him ready, Lewis, we were just talking there a little bit about running a professional yard as a sort of young rider.
Yeah.
What is that like as a young rider in 2022 when, you know, sponsorships, social media are such a big part of your day-to-day, really?
There aren't many sports where it costs this much, and we have to have so much equipment, and the horses are obviously an athlete as well, so they need just as much maintenance as we do. But I do find that sponsors, they obviously always want to support the best riders and the riders that are out there winning all the time, but actually the athletes and the riders that need the support the most are at the beginning. You know, the people that haven't yet made it and that need that help, that they need that sort of leapfrog to get up to the top and to sort of get to their potential. They need that help to get up there.
Yeah, it's like it's taking a bet on the next generation, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah, I suppose that which is a little bit of a bet, like you say, but you just need someone to have the faith in those riders and those athletes.
Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right, then I'm wrong, hoping I'll be fine. But I get up, I always do. I never think, I always do. Never thought I wouldn't jump, oh what a fool. But if I fall, I would get up again.
We're obviously out here with you and lovely Diego. We saw you warming up a little bit there. What are you thinking about when you're warming up a horse, both at home and at a competition?
Yeah, I mean, each horse is individual, of course, so each warm-up will be slightly different, but the basis of each warm-up, I think, is generally sort of the same. So obviously a walk, trot, canter. I generally warm up for about 15 to 20 minutes, and that's about the same when you're at competition and at home. The rest of the time is obviously preparing for your test, or at home just working on things that I want to be working on. Generally around sort of 5 to 10 minutes of walk, and then a little bit of trot and canter in there, working a little bit in the leg yields, putting in between the leg and the hand. Transitions, you can't do enough transitions in your warm-up, and generally when you're riding, just to try and engage the horse off the hind leg and into the contact. Working in a nice stretching contact, not bringing him up in the Grand Prix outline that I would want for a test, but in the warm-up, just getting him relaxed, getting him over the back, making sure that he's feeling good, and just starting to work on little basic things like the leg yield, a little bit of shoulder in feeling, getting him bending left and right, all of those things to get him nice and warm and to get myself a little bit warmed up as well.
And you talked about obviously leg yield and things like that, which not everybody can do, but the concept of bending your horse, moving them off your leg, that's something that anyone can do at any level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're really good tools to have in your warm-up. Obviously they come up not right at the beginning at prelim or novice, but they start coming in at elementary and above, but they're really, you can start doing it at any level in your warm-up. It's really good to get the horses moving a little bit off of your leg into the contact, to start to get them to listen a little bit and make sure they're listening to your aids.
So what is that you just poured in?
It's the NAF skin wash.
Oh, very nice.
It's really good actually. I generally use it after clipping or now when the flies are about a little bit, it's mainly just a nice soothing skin wash for the horses. It says on it, like, you know, you can use it for rashes, lumps or anything like that, but it's just really nice, and it smells really nice and strong.
It does smell good.
Yeah, it's really good. It just relieves any itchiness that they might have.
What a handsome man. So what have you got next on your competition card?
So next week I'm taking Jaguar, the one in the corner there. He's doing his first intermediate one. And at Sheepgate, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, all going well. We'll take him out to the Premier Leagues this year, alongside Diego, who will be doing the senior stuff at Grand Prix. And then hopefully near the end of the year, Jake will step up to Grand Prix.
And how will you be spending the year?
Little Rog.
Little one.
Asleep.
He's, yeah, literally.
10 years.
He's so cute. Bless him.